Good afternoon, friends, family, loved ones, enemies, contributors, distractors. This is Kevin Lewis on The Blueprint. And this week's show is called Renovations. And what renovations are, or what I'm actually going to talk about, is renovations that I believe is happening in America at this present moment. And I think the legwork has been put out um, before this, before current times. I think this been is something that has been a movement to renovate the landscape of this country. And what renovations are is like efforts to improve on something, repair something, and strengthen something. And I believe the renovations that I'm talking about that's going that is being put in effect in this country are renovations that doesn't include an amicable working relationship with the Black community. I believe that there's landscaping that is going on in this country that is taking place and setting the table for a different um, outlook. That America is going in a different direction and efforts to have a different type of relationship with the Black community. And this is something that we must prepare for or prepare to fight against. And if we don't recognize it, it makes it harder for us to prepare for something that you do not see. I believe the landscape that is being changed in this country is in effect because it wants to, or she wants to, unravel the historical milestones that has been gained since the emancipation, such as civil rights acts, bills, um, erasing history. And I believe all of these are strategic things that are put in place and that have been put in place for a particular purpose. The attack on Black historical figures and well respected leaders of the past and leadership of today. The attack on Black heroes or popular figures in today's society. And if we pay attention to what is happening, then we will understand the urgency of the action that needs to take place in our communities, what we need to prepare for. I think the whole Charlie Kirk um, heroship or love affair that this country has, that mainly white America has with this person, is an example of what I'm saying. I believe that Charlie Kirk was a tool, was the poster child that was meant to represent this movement, and Trump was a tool. Trump didn't have Trump had the power, the platform to implement the things that will be put in place to change the landscape. I believe Trump was not the politician that would tippy toe or hide the things that he wanted to do. I think he was the narcissist that was needed. He was the figurehead that would do the dirty work because he doesn't mind getting dirty as long as he gets credit in one form, shape, or form. I believe Charlie Kirk was put in place, or he as a figurehead also, but he was an intellectual figurehead. He was a chess piece that could make a lot uh, more skilled moves. And I believe they are working in two different facets for the same cause. Trump can pass bills. Trump had the following. Charlie Kirk was a figurehead that they groomed to be the head of their movement, the Christian national, the white Christian national type movement that they want in this country. Charlie Kirk did not have the education that was needed for him to be able to do the things that he was accomplishing. That means he had a backing. He was groomed for that position. Charlie Kirk dropped out of community college after one semester, yet he's going to take on college students that was more educated than him, and he was using a brand of logic that he had to be groomed for. And anyone that follows the debates and logical tactics understand the tactics that he was using, and why he was able to defeat a lot of people that were laymen at having debates or discussions. But when he went against those that were prepared, they were able, even at being students, they were able to defeat him in a lot of debates or topics. But he would tactically use topics that was hard to lose. So, and he also, when he got out of high school, he always wanted to go to West Point. Speaking of Charlie Kirk, but he was rejected. This set him off on his journey because his belief system was that a DEI person was the reason that he was rejected, as opposed to looking in the mirror and just saying that you're not good enough. So this set him on his crusade to say, like, this whole DEI thing and minorities and people of color. But the people of color was the main DEI opposition for him, even though the people of his color was the main ones benefiting off of the DEI laws, which was white women. They're the main benefactors of DEI, but that wasn't his target. And this is what proves my point about the renovations that are taking place in this country. If you look at what's been happening the past decade, or probably a little bit more than that, the erasing of history. And the erasing of history is not for you now, for those that are present now. This is for future generations, which Charlie Kirk was out to affect, if I could say that. Those that he was out going to the campuses of, not debating with, but debating for. Those white students that would applaud him because he was saying the things that they want to hear, just as Trump says things that they want to hear. He just does it in a clumsy way. Nonetheless, they are not affected by or offended by the things that he said, that Trump says. They still champion those things, no matter how it comes out or comes across. Charlie Kirk was able to bring those things into a more pleasant type of debate, or bring it to the table in a more pleasant way. And he was saying the things that people want to hear. So people were championing him, and he's the poster child, even though he was saying things that said, don't have empathy for people. I don't believe in empathy. What is he actually saying? Because his followers want empathy for him now. They know that this is what he was saying, but that empathy that he was talking about was not meant for us. Or it was that not having the empathy was not meant for us. Don't have empathy for them. You have empathy for this lady on the transit or the bus station or whatever that got murdered by a black man. Then your heart is bleeding. But he never took a stance against the shooter that went into the grocery store, or a shooter that went into the church, or even never spoke out against those type of things. That wasn't his crusade, because he served a purpose. And his purpose was part of this country's renovation. And the things that he was talking about makes it easier to accomplish the goals and the agenda that they were setting forth. This is making America great again. And it makes it just gives it a stronghold when you can control the minds of those that will be the leaders in the future, those kids on the college campuses. They always say that there's a calm before the storm. And there's also must be a storm before the calm. That means a tearing down of things that was not wanted or necessary. Sometimes you have to go to a site and excavate, tear down anything, trees, anything that's in the way, so that you could lay a new foundation to build something new, to renovate the atmosphere. So you had a person that was going around calling the most beloved leader in Africa and in the African American community historically, and a person that was also respected by the white community, many of them. He calls him an awful person. Speaking of Martin Luther King, no one spoke of Martin Luther King like that. Even white people didn't speak of him like that. They may have spoke of the cause if they were bigoted or whatnot, but no one called King, who was talking about peaceful protests and turning the other cheek and loving your enemy and all these things that the church would provide for you to do. So he was the most beloved leader that America could have as being a black person, most accepted. But here comes Charlie calling him an awful person. Then you take the most decorated gymnast of all time, American gymnast. She happens to be American, that's regarded to be the best gymnast in the history of the Olympics or the world. But by her being black, she falls under attack. He's attacking American heroes. Why? Because she happens to be black. He called her a shame to the country. How could someone that represents this country, helps this country win gold medals, she hasn't done anything heinous, away from gymnastics, for you to give her any type of label like that? America should be embracing her as a hero, just as they did Michael Phelps. But there's a difference. So this is deliberate attack on our heroes of the past and heroes of the present for a reason. So now all his followers are following behind his lead. Going along, the erasing of history is for future generations. The people, history now, or many of them know somewhat of our history in this country. But if you put it out there to not empathize for those that has gone through the history like we have gone through, that includes Native Americans, that includes people of color or whatnot, you're erasing the history. So it makes it easier for you to do things and people not sympathize or empathize for you while these things are being done. This is part of the renovation process that I believe is going on, or was going on, and probably will continue to go on. And he will be made, speaking of Kirk, will be made a martyr. And his movement in his organization, the Turning Point, will continue with this mindset that has been laid forth. And Trump will be the person in power to implement it, because he will allow these things to happen. If you had another president, you probably will have opposition for some of the movements that has been imposed upon uh, businesses and organizations to show respect and homage to someone like Kirk. This atmosphere is being created. And I believe this is why there's been a push for Trump to get the Nobel Peace Prize. And I believe that was vital, or is vital for him. All these things that's happening overseas, him trying to intervene with the whole Israel Palestine thing. I believe that's is reasons for that has nothing to do with the people over there. I believe that really Trump cares less. Over there, the issue that they're having over there in Israel, Israel's in a place of power. The Palestinians are really um, not a threat, not a real threat to them, because Israel is a country that is being backed with military force of their own, and that has been given to them, and they have been backed by America. But I believe staging events or stepping in, and I'll tell you what this reminds me of. This reminds me of back with the Iran Contra affair, with Reagan, when Reagan was president, and what was happening at that time. Iran had American hostages, and there was an election coming up, and there was negotiations that Iran was going to release the hostages. I remember, I believe that is a Jimmy Young, or it was negotiations going on that was sent over there to talk to the Iranians about releasing American hostages, and it was negotiations on the other ends for them not to release the hostages, because that would make the current administration look too powerful, and it makes them look weak when you have hostages being held in American hostages in a foreign country. So that would hurt them at election time, because this is what their opposition can use against them, that you are weak on the worldwide scale. And what was happening, they were negotiating for the hostages to be released on one end, one party, and the other party, which was the Republican, they were saying don't release them until after elections, and they were making deals on under the table. And to me, that reminds me of what's happening now. I believe that the Nobel Peace Prize is something that was the goal for Trump to get, because if and when he acts against the American people, which he's already starting to do, if he's the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, he will be seen in a different perspective. He will be seen as a person that is looking for peace, the winner of a prize, and therefore anything that he does is in the name of peace, and the world will see him as imposing peace on his own people because it's justifiable. Just as you see as what the reaction to a police officer that guns down a civilian, people automatically he's a police officer. So they give the police officer the benefit of the doubt. And same thing racially, what they see when it's a white person gunning down a black person out in the street, and they believe, and this person say, well, I'm standing my ground, you tend to give them the benefit of the doubt. They say blue lives matter. No matter what they see on film, blue lives matter. And we could be looking at something dead in the eye on video, and people are still skeptical. Well, we don't know everything that happened. And this is what the Nobel Peace Prize will give Trump, because if he's continued to move against those people that don't support him, which is mainly black people in this country, then the world and even people in his own country will look at him as being justifiable in any efforts that he takes, because he is a person that is presented a world or an award for being peaceful. Therefore, he will be doing what's needed for him to do. And I believe this atmosphere is being created. It's being created in this country because this country is preparing to make a bigger move than it has already made. And I think it is setting the table. So how do you accomplish these things? You control the media. Media control is a vital part of doing the things that I believe that this country is trying to do. You control the media, therefore you control how information is being transmitted and who receives that information. We already see it with this administration as far as the White House. They have already controlled the press that is able to question and challenge him in his face in White House press conference meetings. They have to be friendly towards his administration. Those that are friendly towards your administration will not challenge you on things that seems to be a little questionable. We've seen this. No president has done that. Dictators do that around the world. The press has to be on their side. Anyone who opposes them or questions them in their face will be dealt with. And this is what we have now in this country that's supposed to be the land of free, with freedom of press and all these things like this. They can't challenge him to his face. If you do challenge something that he did, you will not be able to get into these press, the White House media room. This is controlling the media. And this is enabling him to control the masses, or attempt to. Now, there is something that I do want to bring up that's happening in the social media today. If you look at the AI video movement, what's happening with this AI, artificial intelligence video? Now, the thing is, it is very compelling videos that are being made. You have to question, what am I looking at? Is this real or fake? And I've been talking to people about these things. I believe it's been over the past maybe year and a half or 2 years that we've really seen a movement towards these AI videos that are made by common people, amateurs. And a lot of it was going on. I was talking to a friend of mine. He sent me a video maybe a year or so ago, or earlier this year. And it has these like celebrities or athletes, or even Trump himself, or some kind of political figure, saying things that it's in their voice, and the lips are moving, but it's fooling people. It makes it seem like this person is actually saying. You could type in whatever you want them to say, or what it looks like they're saying in their voice. All you have to do is have a snippet of their voice. You put it in the AI. Now you're going to have something being said in their voice, but it's not really them. They used to do it with basketball players after games or whatnot, where they have their little press conference, and they had them saying some outlandish things, so you would know that it really wasn't real. They're like, this, my coach is a jackass, my players are useless. And it's like you'll see LeBron being used, and it's his voice. And I know my friend that was like, he'll send me, he's like, man, you believe he said that? And I had another friend that did the same thing. And I told him, like, bro, that's AI. That's not real. But it's compelling. It's very believable. And my point that I was making with the guy, one of the guys that was sending me videos, I say, think about, now you have to question what it is that you are looking at on social media. This AI stuff is mainly being spread on social media. Social media will be used as a tool, because social media is a tool for those people that consider themselves woke, because they don't care about the regular media. They are able to broadcast media on their own. I can share videos or share commentary or stories from, and I don't need anyone else or the mainstream media to edit it or whatever. I could say, this is what happened. That's a phone video of somebody being murdered by the police. We can all share these type of videos. So that changes how we get the news. Now with all this AI stuff happening, now they are putting themselves in a position to cause chaos on social media. You don't know what's real and what's fake. Not only besides that, they own social media. They can shut down social media anytime they want. But I don't believe they will have to do that. I believe what they would do, they would commandeer social media, and they're doing it in a way now that we're seeing that anyone could put out videos. And I believe they are wanting this to happen for a purpose, part of their agenda. Because now you question what is it that I'm looking at? Is this real or fake? And the thing is, like all these little animals, a little boy feeding a crocodile. So I think I posted something like last week or something, and I know it's AI. And I shared it with my friend. I'm telling him because this conversation has been ongoing with friends of mine. I'm like, look, like basically, look at this. It looks real, and I'm looking at the reaction of people. And how many people are saying, oh my God, look at this, oh my God," or the people that say, "Yeah, that's fake, that's AI." And surprisingly, it's a lot of people that don't realize a lot of these videos are fake, even if they're showing things for catastrophes that has happened. I believe the flooding that happened in Texas earlier this year, it was a lot of AI videos showing destruction of bridges, and it wasn't real. So the whole thing that I'm getting at, this a tactic that has been used in the Western world, United States. Anytime they go to war or they have conflicts with another country, what they would do, they will counterfeit their money and put it back into the economy. And this what happens is it weakens their economy. They don't recognize the fake money. Somebody is printing fake money and it's bringing your economy down. So you're making their economy crash. This is a tactic without having to use bombs or anything like this. This is a tactic that countries have been using for decades. When America has a problem with Iraq, when America has problem with Iran, if you look historically, this is one of the things that they did that they would do. They would print out counterfeit money, and if you listen to some of these countries, the leadership has made these accusations that it's counterfeit money being used in our country. They believe that America is the one that's doing it. And of course, America say, no, we're not doing it. But this is a tactic. And I believe now this is a way you're sending out counterfeit videos, counterfeit information. And what it does, it weakens social media. Now you can't rely on social media for information because most of it is fake, even though it's believable. You don't know what's real and what's fake. And I believe they're deliberately letting this happen. So now this is not a viable or reliable source of information that the common person that doesn't go to Fox and don't go to CNN or NBC or whatever these outlets are, now they can't get their own social media or rely on it. They're building up a case for that. It's counterfeit. And last time this administration was in office, the word was fake news. Fake news. That's fake news. So they have their own people questioning news that the mainstream media was putting out. So that was the first attack. Are these liberals? They put out fake news. Then we also see both sides. They put out fake news. I get into these discussions with people on these sites that's conservatives, and they constantly putting out, and I fact check and I say this is fake. But I'm wondering why, because if I post something that seems not to be real or that they are fact check and I have social media come back and say, well, we fact checked this and this person never really, how do you know this person never really said this? And they ask me, am I going to take it down or whatever? But I'm constantly seeing the other side being able to put all kind of posts and things up saying this person said this and they're against this. This person said that they are tired. And I look it up and it's like, no, that didn't happen. Why am I having to fact check things? But if I put up something that's questionable, it's not that they'll say, no, this person never said it. They'll say things like, we don't have any confirmation. I'm like, so what? You don't. Either way, so why are you checking me on something that I got confirmation or I believe has been said? But yet I'm seeing all of these, a plethora of videos that other people from the other side, they constantly putting up things and I'm checking them. I'm fact checking them. Bad Bunny in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes said this. I fact check it. No, he didn't say that. But they're allowing them to put these videos up and constantly circulate them, confusing information. It was our videos that was talking about Denzel walked out on Whoopi Goldberg and them show The View because one of them was charging him with something political, and he was like, "I didn't come on here to be political," and all this stuff was circulating. They didn't stop it. They didn't charge those people that kept posting it and reposting it, even those that was posting it because they didn't know, but they didn't charge them. And I'm because they're allowing them to keep posting this type of stuff. So this is my question: why is this happening? What is the agenda? If it's happening one-sided, what is the agenda? If I came on and say a public figure came on and he was blasting an Olympic hero that happens to be white, he wouldn't be popular, especially if it was unfounded. If you go on and you blast one of the quarterbacks that's one of their great white quarterbacks, or you go on and you talk about Caitlin Clark, people will call you all kind of names. It's unfounded. Well, I say, well, she got the worst 3-point shooting percentage. She got the most turnover. Oh, you a hater. You a hater. But that's not being reciprocated when it's talking about an American superstar, all-time great, the greatest, because she's not who they need her to be or who they want her to be. She's part of their agenda. So they're excusing those type of things. Now it becomes his followers versus her. They're looking for everything. Oh, she posted this and she said this and she's not respectful of Charlie Kirk. You're not saying that he's not respectful of her when he was alive. So there's an agenda. And it's not really hidden as far as I'm concerned. It's to me, it's in your face. So what comes along with the fake videos that we are looking at and the information that we're receiving, it's going to render those that are woke ineffective in trying to reach people because people are going to be sifting through counterfeit and real, and you're not going to be able to tell what is real. But what also happens is not just affecting the woke people, it's affecting those people who are pro agenda of what I'm talking about in the making America great again type movement, because you would have people influenced by social media videos, influenced by ways you're putting a video. I saw a video I think yesterday where some black guy on the subway, and it's a skit. I'm not saying it was a AI, or to me it's just a skit, and he's telling this poor white person, younger, get away from me, don't stand near me because you look like you're an idiot and all these things like this. I don't know if y'all seen this video. And it was a veteran. That's what they put him on. This old military veteran stands up to this guy on the train. You don't have to say a black guy. You could just say guy because people could see that he's black. And he's this imposing figure and he's bullying this. He's sitting down and the guy is standing up, holding on to the pole next to him. And the guy's listening to his music. So all these optical sensations is going and they're implied in your mind and printed in your mind. This guy is minding his own business. He's listening to headphones. He's just a poor guy just standing there. He doesn't look like he's wealthy or anything. As innocent as can be. And here this black guy is sitting down telling him, move, get away from here. I don't like the way you look, and I don't like this. And what this is doing to the viewers, they're creating a bad guy. Then they're saving grace. This old white guy, Fred, stands up and says he doesn't leave him alone. He doesn't have to do this. And the black guy looking at him. I just don't like him. And it's like, I don't care what you like. This is free country. You don't get to do that. And I fought for this and I fought for that. And it's all propaganda. Because mainly we don't sit there and be just bullying people because, hey, and it sounded corny if I put it like that. It didn't even sound weird. And I put this is a great skit for whomever the wanted that type of propaganda. and it says old military veteran. The guy is 69 years old and he's standing up and he can't beat up the guy. And the guy's like, well, what are you going to do? The guy said, you're going to find out what I'm going to do and you're not going to like it. Like, wow, this is a great movie for those that like that type of American patriot story where we are the bad guys. But this is imprinting a vision on those who are vulnerable, that they want to react. And it's like, look at anything that does happen, that was real, that happens when a black person is the perpetrator, they will plaster it all over the place, heighten everybody's emotion about this. And they're like, look at this guy attack. But the same thing can happen with a white guy doing it. And it's not a major news thing where they just shot up a church. I'm talking about where a white person killing a black person, a white person killing Asian people, or a white person killing Hispanic people, and all this stuff like this. That's not going to be plastered the same way in broadcast, like it's the crime of the century. So then, what if someone is creating fake videos like this, that you have to cross-reference and look up, did that really happen? Then you're getting bombarded with all these videos and you don't know if what's real and what's not. So someone that is vulnerable and to this ideology that these people are out of hand. So now they want to take things into their own hands. Now, these type of videos, this type of propaganda, it absolves leadership from the liability of these things happening, even though they may have people creating these type of videos that they want created. They're creating the idealism that they want, even though, but I'm not really doing it. They could create a video with Trump saying, do this, and this is what's happening, and this is what we need to do. And he may not have really said it. And then when the person do it and they say, well, you're the one that said that, and he gonna say, no, I didn't say that. That's fake. Somebody else created that. That's fake news. That's AI. But that's what you really want. This is what the atmosphere can create with all this fake videos, all these AI videos that look real. It won't be a alligator. It won't be a bear. It'll be a black person doing this. And people say, well, where was this at? Where did this happen at? It'll show a mob of black people doing this. You better get ready. This is the dangers of these type of videos that's able to be circulated and put into social media, mainstream social media, without any type of ramifications coming from the person that originally created it. So this is what I think is happening. This is what I think is on the horizon. I think all of these fake videos we're looking at, and some people say, did you see this? Or is it real or fake? And I'm saying that's AI, but this is in my mind. This is what I'm thinking. Everything is serving a purpose. You could put words into any leader's mouths, good or bad, that you're for, and have a result. Some people will just look at it and say, yeah, that's AI. Other people will take it to heart and say, hey, did you see that video? A lot of people will be influenced by that. And then they will act upon that like a puppet. It happens anyway. When a guy drove from Dallas, this may be like 8 years ago or something, 7, 8 years ago, when he drove from Dallas to, I believe, El Paso and shot up the mall. He did that off of what some representative said in her speech, the scare tactics. America's going to be looking different 20 years from now. We're not going to be the majority. These people, which she was talking about, it was a conservative congresswoman, I believe, in Arizona. She made a speech right before this guy did this. These people that go out and do mass shootings, they're on social media. They're listening to some type of group. They're fed up. They're like, something needs to be done. When these people say something needs to be done, that's code for them to get out and do something. Be a patriot. If you want to be a patriot, join the military. But no, these are people that's out here being patriots in their own mind and doing what needs to be done for the survival of their offspring and their future, their grandkids. So, and these type of people, even though you might not go to that extreme, you would the extreme you'll go to is you'll sit back and watch without having any type of empathy for these ICE agents to drag people in the street kicking away. And you don't even care if that person is an American citizen or not, because what you're looking at is they're a person of color. It's a Hispanic. Just like you see all these Karens and all these other people, the guys, they confronting FedEx workers that's Hispanic, or they're let me see your papers. They're confronting construction workers just on the grounds of being Hispanic or Latino. They're doing that because they've been influenced. They think that you have to show me some kind of show me your green card. What they like? What you talking about? I've been here for 50 years. My family been here for 100. What are you talking about? But that's the mindset that has been created. This is something that we have been seeing for how long? Where these people have been charging these Mexicans, let me see your paperwork. Let me see this. Are you here legally and all? And they think that they could take things in their own hands. And now it has grown to a point that they have a whole agency that anybody, you might not have been able to make it to the police force. You might not have been able to make it into the military, but you could become an ICE agent because we don't need you fighting somebody over there and being able to pass the PT test and the requirements and do 80 sit-ups in 2 minutes, or run 2 miles in a certain amount. But you could just wrestle people and take kids out of school and grab people at grocery stores. We don't need you to be all like tip top shape in the police force and all this stuff like that. Just join the crusade. We're going to pay you well. We're going to give you all these benefits. And all you got to do is just go nab people and throw them in the vans. This has been happening for a while. In fact, I remember some of the protests with the Black Lives Matter. They were talking about that was happening to some Black people in the protest. Some people were being thrown into vans and driven off, and they were saying, hey, some agents or somebody is doing this. This wasn't ICE, I don't believe, but this is what was happening. I remember the complaints back when some tragic event happened and Black people was rising up, and they had all these protests and things, and they were saying some people were being thrown in the vans, scooped up off the street, thrown in the vans. So now you have it where it's federally legal. Join the agency, get a $50,000 bonus, and not only that, your family will be taken care of, and you could just go and clean America out of the worst. I seen the commercial, the worst pedophiles and drug dealers and violent murderers and all these supposedly going out to fight. But then every time I turn around, I'm seeing kids and parents that's working. They taking people from jobs and things like this. This is the atmosphere that's being created. They disrupt when they attack other countries without a war. They have conflicts. What they do, they disrupt communications towers, communication towers. They call it turning them dark or turning them black. So then before they go in, so when you're attacking them or you're doing some type of military strike, they're not able to communicate. It's chaos. When you can't talk to somebody, you can't communicate, there's chaos. So what you're doing, you have these tactics that is the MO of the Western world. Then you're starting to see these tactics taking place now. They're not going to they may turn off social media at one point. I believe now they're trying to use it to their advantage. Because what other people were doing, opposition, the people that they claim woke and this terrible thing, they were using social media to an advantage. I'm not listening to what Fox says. I'm not listening to this snippet or whatever. We're talking to each other. Hey, this is what's going on. This is what we're doing here. This is what has happened. Do y'all understand? Have y'all heard about this? So now instead of just cutting it off altogether, they're using it to their advantage. they're trying to commandeer it and control it. So now they're controlling people's minds of how they see things and how they're reacting. So this is the atmosphere that I believe that we are witnessing now. And I believe that we have to pay attention to. They're not doing all these things just to entertain. They have us being entertained with the BS, and then what they're doing, they're making moves. And no one in the black community seems to be preparing us for what's happening in this country. The only leadership that they think, or the people that's preparing us, they preparing us for the polls. So you keep talking about how bad this is and how bad this administration is. I don't believe that's going to be the end of it. I don't believe that this all this atmosphere, whatever the storm that's starting to brew, I don't believe that that's going to go away. You have too many people that love the things that's happening now. They're not going to stop loving it. In fact, if this country's leadership starts going in a different direction, I believe things are already put in place and planted in strategic places with the youth, that they will um, oppose it on every inch of the way. And I think that they're going to act out and react out in different ways. And I think we have to prepare ourselves for whatever is on the horizon. I believe the storm is coming. If the storm is this, then I think they are creating a storm, a major storm. And after the storm, they're looking for a paradise, and they want America to look differently. They don't want to hear your voices about anything that's happening. They want, I think the relationship that this country or this government wants to have with you as black people, you as people of color, is one of more submissive, where you don't have a voice. They do whatever the hell they want. They have whatever statues that they want up, and you don't have the voice to take it down. They don't give a damn about your history, which is their history, so that they can erase the history and wash the blood of their ancestors off the hands of their ancestors. So when anything happens to you that this government comes and imposes or implements, no one there, they will be cheering it on. Just as they doing with a lot of these things that's happening to the Mexicans being snatched up, and the videos of people, you don't even care. You're not following up like, okay, well, who is this guy? Is he really a citizen? You watching it happen and you just going, you scrolling through, okay, yeah, that's great. No one's saying, well, what's this guy's I want some answers. No one's doing that. You're just believing that what you're seeing is just, no matter how it looks. You just believe that it's just. And there were stories coming out that some of these people that they were deporting were American citizens legally here. It's like, well, sometimes you put the fish net out and you catch dolphins sometimes. So what? Collateral damage. And this is what America is beginning to accept. And this is something that we have to look for, because if it's them now, it's going to be you later. If it's you now, this is what we're not getting. Sometimes, like whatever was happening, I think a lot of the Hispanic community, when the black people were sounding the alarm and they thought that maybe they thought Trump was just going to be after, going against black people. And they kind of probably felt that that was just. And they probably didn't realize that you were on the agenda list also, and vice versa. When we sit around and we let things and we watch things happening to the Hispanics or the Mexican people, and we think, okay, well, that's them. We don't realize that we're on the agenda list as well. So what we have to do is understand that anything that's happening to someone else, whatever their affiliation is, whether it's a religious thing, it's a group of whatever sorts, whether you agree with that group or not, they still have rights. And if you can violate their rights, if we'll sit back and allow the violation of someone else's rights, even though we don't agree with them, then next they will be able to violate your rights. And people to stand by that don't necessarily empathize with you or agree with you, or they have been influenced to think that these people are dangerous. I mean, that's what Kirk Cole, one of his arguments was, right? He's talking about the crime rate and all these things, not looking at what creates the crime rates in the Black community, which is the American government, the things that have been put in place, and that has been their agenda all along. But you're looking at statistics and you're not looking at historically what has happened and why these things has happened. So this is what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted us to be aware and conscious of what's happening around us and be prepared. I don't care if this all is just a conspiracy theory on my end, that's fine. We have to come up with some type of plan for the future of our kids, and it has to be more than just voting. Because you're going to be surprised. A candidate, and this is what my point about that is. I hear people talking about, well, Biden, you saw how he was before he got out of office. He was just too old and he's mumbling, stumbling, and he has dementia, whatever you want to say, because he was old. So he couldn't have been running the country, right? Okay. That means Trump, all the things you're talking about Trump, I see the same thing. I see him starting to fade out, buzz out, tune out, whatever. Age, whatever is getting to him, but he's a figurehead that's able to do, he's a tool that's able to do what they need him to do. So if Biden was a figurehead, and who's been running the country for the last couple of years of his administrative run, camp tour as president, then the same thing could be said to this president. It doesn't really matter. What he's doing is America's bidding. So someone is behind the curtain running the country, some group or whomever, whatever it is. If you're going to say that for one side, you have to say that for another side. They are figureheads. Obama was a figurehead. He could try to get things done, but America is America. No one's going to change America from being who she really is. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I appreciate everyone that tuned in. It's Kevin Lewis on The Blueprint. I'm going to give a shout out to Aisha. I appreciate you showing up. Ladae Bishop, Sakina, Walaikum Assalam, sister. Sorry I didn't acknowledge y'all earlier, but I appreciate y'all. Thanks, peace. Thanks for showing up. Kevin Lewis on The Blueprint.